And every day we are immersed in a world that is constantly changing and is challenging us to move from a dual thinking to a way of both and. Now more than ever, we find ourselves at crossroad places when we need direction and we need knowledge about where to go, what to do, and where to stand. We're facing in our communities and in our world today a reality where life sustainability in all forms is at risk. From the state of our planet to the way that human beings are behaving towards each other. And if you have been paying attention to the news and everything happening around us, this year we have experienced a more significant rise in poverty, in destruction of the environment, in hunger, in racial divisions, and there is a culture of fear and violence. And as we get closer to the political election season, we might find ourselves bracing ourselves, thinking how the different groups will use religious belief as weapon, like if it was a battle. And in the face of that reality, we can sometimes get overwhelmed and anxious and frustrated, and we be tempted to either disengage. It's like, I cannot take more. I just need space and time to breathe and be. I don't have time to get involved with that. But in the midst of complex reality, sometimes we think that we cannot do anything about it. Or that what is needed is something that is beyond our reach. And in our second reading, we found the Apostle Paul speaking to the community in Corinth. Now, this is a community that it was very similar to our community in this country. It was very diverse, ethnically, socially, and religiously. And there were some divisions and challenges among them. And Paul is pointing out that divine wisdom challenges our ways of being, our ways of relating, our set beliefs, our set notions of wisdom and strength. And he reminds this community how Jesus was like Lady Wisdom, was born and he was immersed in the human experience, in the beauty and the messiness of the daily living. Being present to his life, being present to his call, being present to his community, and to the reality of his time. So Jesus lived at the crossroads, at the gates of the city, at the margins of his world. And he created with his life and ministry a wide open table where everyone could be welcome, where all could come together and co-create with each other one humanity. A place where all could offer to each other some food for the journey. And Jesus pointed to a wisdom that seemed foolishness for the powers of his time, because he was inviting people to find wisdom to live and to be one community by learning from each other, by feeding each other, by taking care of each other, by learning and questioning, by exploring. If you remember, Jesus hardly ever gave people answers. His answers were, a question that he offered to people to sit with and to think about. So he understood that to imagine possibilities and create something new in the midst of brokenness and unjust structures. And even in the midst of a religious tradition that sometimes seems to be lacking compassion, he knew that for that you had to be rooted in divine wisdom. A wisdom that was accessible to all in different ways and expressions. So like Lady Wisdom and like Jesus, we can also have been placed in the midst of creation, in this human experience. And we also are invited to stand at the crossroads and gates of our own lives, the life of our communities and the life of the world. And we are beautiful, complex, broken, and yet whole human beings who are trying to live the best that we can, who are trying to create meaning and to live in peace. We're a community who is trying to mirror God's doing in the world. We're trying to be love and compassion and to be peace and to be healing. And with every step that we're taking towards to heal the planet, to feed the hungry, to challenge systems of injustice, with every step that we take to open our heart to listen to each other, to understand each other, and to connect with each other, we are walking in wisdom ways. Every time that we come together to create community, where from our elders to the littlest one can be seen and can be loved and can be acknowledged, we are embodying the wisdom of God. Every time that we gather the courage, even if sometimes we struggle, even if sometimes we doubt or are fearful to open our hearts a little wider, we still try to practice that extravagant hospitality around this table. And we still bring our hopes, and we still bring our doubts, and we still bring our joys. And we practice standing at the cross place, where only by the grace of God we can imagine possibilities. Possibilities for our own lives, possibilities for our communities and the world. And from this place, we can bring healing, and we can bring transformation, and we can share that what we have found and what we keep finding at this table, we can offer it to the world. So there is in her a spirit that is intelligent and holy and humane and is free from anxiety. For wisdom is more mobile than any motion. She is a breath of the power of God. She renews all things, and in every generation, she passes into holy souls and makes them friends of gods and prophets. So whoever finds wisdom finds life. Amen.